Hi, I'm Betsy Jordan, and this is Behind the Curtain IMO, which means in my opinion, which means do your own research. But if you like what I have to say, you might want to visit us at YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and that way you can see all the background videos, which I hope are informing people. Sometimes we don't want to go and do the research ourselves, and sometimes we don't realize we've believed something because we read it on social media when we haven't checked it out. And sometimes, I mean we as in the royal we, as in everyone, sometimes we are overwhelmed with the idea of doing something new, like going to register to vote. You may have heard you've got to register to vote, and that sounds like a foreign term because it's like, oh, how do I do that? I don't even know. I don't even know where to go to ask. Go to your state board of elections. Go to the links that we provide below every video. Voter information at another link that we have at the bottom of every video. And the YouTube channel is at Behind the Curtain IMO. So I want you to feel comfortable going to exercise your right. And there are a lot of things that could cause you discomfort right now. Like, is my license up to date? Who do I even call to find that out? That's the Department of Motor Vehicles. And they have notices on their website in North Carolina, at least, that do remind you that you need an ID to go vote. So you do in the state of North Carolina and in many states that have instituted that sort of thing. Now, the lines at the DMV can be long, so do not put it off. Don't put it off. If you don't have an ID, don't put it off. Contact your state board of elections or go to their website to find out where early voting is. If you'd like to register to vote and vote at the same time, you may do that during that time period at the polls. So it's a one-trip kind of thing. But if you don't want to spend a whole lot of time at the polls, then you'll go to the DMV, get your real ID, register to vote, then go and vote early at the early voting polls. You can see that on the website. In North Carolina, again, it starts October 17th, I believe, and goes through November 2nd. I have said in an earlier video it was November 3rd. That's why it's very important to check this information out. I checked it out again and realized that I had made a mistake. So please do check it out in your respective state, because I'm not assuming that everybody that watches this is from North Carolina. I'm sure you're not. But early voting has certain hours, certain places and spaces that are not necessarily polls. I think they're all polls in the general election, but they're not necessarily your polling place. And determine the day you're going to vote. Put it on your calendar, set alerts. I'm serious, make it easy for yourself to go and vote. We do expect that there are going to be challenges to voting, and we are preparing for things like that. When I say we, I know what the Democratic Party is doing for that, but I also have some inkling of how the elections boards are handling some of that. In intensely partisan and intensely close races like this one, every vote is going to count, every vote is going to matter, and making sure that everyone is not hassled at the polling places is also important. So if you have any trouble voting, please report it to the elections board officials that are there at the polls. They will be there. They will be there. And there are legal teams prepared to answer any sort of specific questions, and they'll be there round the clock, during this voting period. They'll be ready, hands-on. So we aim to continue to have fair and free elections. And it just is taking more manpower than it has in the past. And it takes being better prepared to exercise your right. But please, if you've never voted before, go ahead and register. And then there's one more piece. I'm going to put together a whiteboard and a video so that you can see the process on the website. I've got to commission that and get that done, but you're going to be able to register and vote. If you've never voted before, please do this. It's never been more important. We say this every election, never an election that's more important, but it's very, very important when one of these candidates is saying, if I'm elected president, you won't ever have to vote again. And that is what has been said. And I take it that's what they mean, which means you won't have this right to vote again. You'll have a king, an autocrat, someone who will stay in power forever. And so fair and free elections will be a thing of the past. So don't just hear that and think, oh, good, I don't have to do that again. No. This is something you want to fight for. You want to fight to have this privilege. And it is really critical in this election. So please go to the websites. I am going to do my best to give you a whiteboard video that shows you step by step along the process. We don't want any confusion out there. We want people to be solid and ready to go exercise their right to vote. And that's all there is for this one. I've talked about voting several different videos, but I think it's critical. So this is Behind the Curtain IMO. Thanks for being here.